Hello there and welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me on this YouTube channel. If you feel this video is entertaining and informative, please leave a like in the comments and feel free to subscribe to the channel. But let's jump into that because we have some serious business to talk about here today as we are reviewing what happened last night across Mississippi and Alabama, as we have some very large tornadoes that moved across the area, and it took the lives of over 23 people in the state of Mississippi, and another couple of folks perished in Alabama as well, as we looked at some very powerful tornadoes that moved across the area. The National Weather Service is out right now doing this preliminary estimates of what some of the strength of some of these tornadoes were. I wouldn't be surprised to hear of a few EF5 tornadoes. So a very catastrophic situation occurred across Mississippi and Alabama last night, and through parts of Kentucky and Kentucky and Tennessee, and through Arkansas and Louisiana as well. We also saw some of those very large tornadoes and very strong, severe to severe thunderstorms with those winds that were about 80 miles per hour with some of those severe storms, but naturally they're going to be much stronger when we're dealing with a tornado. Here's a look at some of those tornadoes that we saw across parts of central Mississippi last night. West central Mississippi near Durant and Rolling Park, and we also saw near Greenville. We saw some of those tornadoes last night, and then we saw those tornadoes move into parts of northern Alabama as well, as we saw those tornadoes move across those areas. So it was not a very good situation. Just north of Birmingham, we saw those tornadoes, and we saw that line of severe thunderstorm. Now these are all gone now. This is just a composite of what happened last night, and we're looking at all those tornadoes that we saw across Mississippi and Alabama. And here we go. We saw one or more stronger tornadoes near Rolling Park, Mississippi, and this is called a there was a community hospital that was on the west side of Rolling Park that was damaged by a tornado. So we saw that, and we saw another tornado. Broadcast media reported that an adult male died and 2 children were in critical condition after being trapped in a tornado-damaged home. And so additional people were trapped in homes and with active search and rescue efforts underway. So again, a lot of problems out there across the South last night with those tornadoes. And then Bear Creek, there was more trees down, and it was blocking Highway 172 near Highway 241. And the location is consistent with TDS west of Bear Creek. So we have tornado damage across most of northern Mississippi and northern Alabama. So this is all the severe weather that we saw across the South yesterday. And we look at that, we saw those severe thunderstorms all the way into North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. We saw them across Illinois as well, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, and of course Mississippi, Alabama, and North Georgia. So a very serious situation unfolded last night across the South. Let's take a look again at more of those tornadoes that we saw across central Mississippi. All right, so now let's move on and talk about the forecast for the days ahead. Now we have where we're still going to be seeing a lot of warmth across the South. Going to still see more thunderstorms across the South today. We're going to be seeing a lot of those showers and storms confine themselves to the eastern U.S. now, from Georgia, North Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, and into parts of the mid-Atlantic. We could see thunderstorms as far north as maybe near the Chicago area. So we're going to be seeing thunderstorms across northeastern Indiana, the entire state of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms down across West Virginia as well. Now on the west coast, we're going to be seeing snow across the mountains as we have a weak trough in the area, so some scattered snow is going to be taking place across the plain states of Nebraska, parts of Wyoming and Montana, and we're going to be seeing snow over Idaho. And snow will also extend westward to the Cascade Mountain Range, and we're going to be seeing rain down in the valleys near Seattle and Portland. All right, so we got a storm to deal with across the Northeast today on your Saturday. So we're going to be looking at this storm system that will be bringing snow across parts of Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, mixed precipitation across upstate New York and Massachusetts. Rain for Boston, the big cities, Rhode Island, Connecticut, lower New York, near New York City, eastern Pennsylvania, all of New Jersey, and down to the D.C. area. We're going to be looking at rain showers and thunderstorms will be embedded in that activity today. But over the Great Lakes, we have our area of low pressure that's going to be bringing some heavy snow through parts of northern Michigan, the northern part of the Butte, the Upper Peninsula in Wisconsin as well, northern Illinois and eastern Iowa near the Quad Cities. We're going to be seeing some snow potential this afternoon. Now let's talk about those winds that we're going to be seeing on the backside of our low pressure center as it moves on off to the north and east, where we're going to be seeing winds gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour in the Ohio Valley, Detroit, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Charleston, North Carolina, or West Virginia, as well as the Appalachian Mountains. We're going to be seeing those higher wind gusts. And in some areas, we're going to be seeing wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour, and that is going to be for Traverse City, Chicago. We're going to be seeing very strong winds out there and some blowing snow in areas that have snow on the ground, particularly in Wisconsin and Michigan. Most of you folks down to the south of that, through Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, don't have much snow on the ground. There's a little bit of snow in northwestern Illinois and parts of Iowa that could deal with some blowing snow as a result of these high winds across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. Now let's take a look at the snowfall potential. Now we will see the potential for 6 to 12 inches in Maine and parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. But it's going to be a very small area because most of that snow is going to affect southern Canada, Ontario, Canada. So we're talking about Montreal and Toronto, where we could be seeing most of that snowfall, and Maine. But the rest of these states are a little bit too far to the south. Upstate New York, 1 to 3 inches across parts of like Burlington, Vermont, and in New Hampshire, 1 to 3 inches of snow. 1 to 3 inches of snow, it could be possible. Across parts of Maine, Portland, Maine, and you could pick up 3 to 6 inches through east central Maine. So down to the south, further than that, we're going to be seeing rainfall, and that snow will extend over into the northern portions of the Butte of Michigan. So Green Bay, Wisconsin could pick up some snow. Madison, 6 inches of snow is going to be possible across that way. We do have a winter storm watch in place for those regions for your Saturday, where we'll still see some snow today. All right, so let me get over here where I'm more back into the camera view. Sunday, that storm system will lift off to the northeast. We're going to be seeing it just off the coast of Maine there as it heads towards Nova Scotia, Canada, but we're going to be seeing it cool on the backside of that low pressure and breezy to windy conditions as well, blowing through the Boston area and down toward New York City. We're going to be seeing winds gusting from the northwest to about 40 miles an hour. Warmer air will start to rise up from the south, but that will be short-lived, and a little bit of rainfall will move in across portions of the Midwest through Illinois and Indiana, where we're going to be seeing rain as we head into Monday. All right, thunderstorms is going to happen possibly today across parts of the Ohio Valley. So Ohio and Pennsylvania and New York near the Buffalo area, we could be seeing the potential for some severe thunderstorms today, where we have just enough moisture and instability in the area to spark some severe thunderstorms this afternoon across parts of the eastern Great Lakes out there. Now, these will not be like what we saw down across the south, but we are seeing a very strong jet stream moving in from the west there. Our polar jet stream up to the north, we're going to be seeing that dropping down out of Canada. That's going to keep things a bit on the cold side across the northern tier. But down to the south, we have what we call a zonal pattern with that vast west to east pattern that is coming up out of the Rockies and the desert southwest, but that's going to be screaming off toward the northeast as we head into north to next week. So a bit of a change in the jet stream. We won't be seeing it so much troughing in the west, but as we're going to go into a zonal pattern from west to east. So that means that the storms coming into California, we'll have one more storm to contend with across the desert southwest with heavy rain down near the LA area all the way up to the Bay Area, and we're going to be seeing a lot of rain out west and heavy snow across the Sierra Nevadas once again, as we could pick up snow in the feet, and we're going to be seeing several inches of rain fall all the way down to Southern California once again. Here's our storms. We got two more storms that we're going to be dealing with coming in. We have our late week storm, and we got another storm that we're going to be seeing late in the next week. So we have our storm. This is going to be our next storm, and then the next storm next week that's going to be bringing it. Now, these two are going to be aiming more for Northern California. So LA will still get rainfall, but I think these two will be a little bit higher as where they come on shore further to the north. All right. So the National Weather Service has our winter weather advisories in place across Northern California, where we have freeze warnings in place, and we have a freeze watch and frost advisories through the northern portions of California. This is the Central Valley, Sacramento down to Modesto and Merced. And this is going to be the Central Valley in northern central California, north central California. Boy, my mouth is just buttery today, isn't it? So there we are. As we're looking at it being very cold during the morning hours, this will eventually diminish as we get later in the day. But in the mornings, we're going to be seeing very cold conditions out there, and it could be below freezing to the northwest near Ukiah. So we're going to be seeing it colder out in that region. All right, so now we're looking at that persistent chill out west as we have a big long wave trough in the western half of the United States that goes all the way into northern Mexico. So what that means is going to be cold across the Rockies and the West Coast and the desert Southwest, at least cold by the desert Southwest standards is concerned, as they're going to be 20 to 30 degrees below normal for your historical average high temperatures and low temperatures for this time of the year. So we have that storm, the next storm that we're going to be seeing coming in on Tuesday, that's going to be headed toward the Bay Area, but we can see rain, as said up here, and we can see rain all the way down to Southern California. This is another atmospheric river fueled storm, so we're going to be seeing that heavy rain spread across Central and Northern California, and very heavy snow across the Sierra Nevada. Snow could be possible in the Southern California mountains, Tehachapi Mountains, the San Gabriel, San Bernardino Mountains, and the Santa Ynez Mountains down here to the south, where we could be seeing some heavy snow and up to 2 feet of snow in the Southern California mountains and up to 4 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevadas and the mountains near Lassen Volcanic National Park. There, so we're seeing a lot of winter still left to come across the West Coast. And here we are as we take a look at our pattern that we're going to be seeing for the remaining for April and May. Very wet conditions across the nation's midsection, stormy, lots of severe thunderstorms is going to happen across the Gulf Coast all the way up to the upper Midwest and into Minnesota and the Dakotas. So it's going to be a very stormy period. The temperatures are going to be kind of crazy too. A lot of up and down. So we're going to have a revolving door of warm-ups and cool-offs, and it's going to be confusing and not going to be very pleasant because you're going to enjoy a couple of warm days followed by a storm, and then it's going to be cold days. Some folks across the north can still see snow, and we can still see snow through parts of the Northeast and the Great Lakes areas as well, as we're going to be seeing a change in the jet stream, where we're going to be seeing a little bit more troughing in the east, ridging across the nation's midsection, and more ridging coming onto the west coast. The west coast will slowly start to dry out. We're still going to see storms periodically come on shore into California, but we'll start to see fewer and fewer storms as they begin to warm up and dry out across the western United States. That is your weather forecast for this weekend and to start you off for next week. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. Leave your likes, comments, feel free to subscribe.